Right, hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be making my predictions for game week number 9 of the 25-26 Premier League season. But before we begin, let's have a look at last week's set of matches. I got no scorelines bob on, but I got 4 correct outcomes, so that's 4 points, taking my season total up to 58. And here is how the Premier League table looks after 8 matches, and without further ado, let's look at this week's 7 matches. And we'll start off with a huge relegation 6-pointer. It is Leeds against West Ham. And both these sides lost 2-0 last game week. West Ham lost 2-0 to Brentford last night. And Leeds lost 2-0 to Burnley. Thing is, it's at Elland Road. I do like Leeds at home. This one's tricky because I was originally thinking a draw, but I thought it was at the London Stadium. Now that I see it's at Elland Road, I think I'm going to pick a winner here. I'm going to pick Leeds, and I think Leeds will win 2-1. I think Leeds need to go back to winning ways after their 2-0 defeat to Burnley and, push further away from the relegation zone. So 2-1 Leeds is where I'm going on the opening game here this week. Next up, we've got Chelsea against Sunderland. And this is a interesting one. Sunderland have started the season really strongly. But this is Chelsea, and this is Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And, they've got the likes of, Esteval. Who's that other young player that just scored last week? You've got him, you've got, Pedro Neto. Reece James even pretty can score. They've got some good players. And I think this Chelsea squad are just going to be too strong for Sunderland. I think once Sunderland are back at the Stadium of Light, they might get a result. But with this being at Stamford Bridge, I'm going to back Chelsea to win. Let's go 3-1. I think I was tempted to go with 2, but I am going with 3-1. I think what I will say is Chelsea do play in the Champions League midweek. So we'll see how much that takes out of their players. Of course, Cole Palmer is injured for the next 6 weeks, but I think Chelsea still have enough in the tank to win this match, so 3-1. Next up, we have got Newcastle against Fulham. And Newcastle have been performing fairly well recently, and Fulham I'm starting to worry about here. I think Fulham could find themselves in this relegation scrap for the first part of the season. They've got players that can score goals, but with this being at St James's Park, I do fancy Newcastle, especially with the likes of, Nick Voltemades really banging in the goals at the minute. And I think they'll get the job over the line and keep a clean sheet in the process. I'm going 2-0 to the Geordies. I think this side of Newcastle with the Magpies will get the win. So 2-0 Newcastle is where I'm going on this one. Next up, we've got Manchester United against Brighton. And this is an interesting one because I heard on Match of the Day, apparently Man United are the favourites in this match. And I'm not sure about that. I mean, Man United, credit to them, they just beat Liverpool 2-1. But Brighton, they just beat Newcastle, I think, also 2-1. It is at Old Trafford. I do like Man United at home, but I think I do fancy Brighton to get the win here. Maybe it might be a bit of a shock, but I am going for a Brighton win. I'm going 2-1 to the away side. I think Brighton will get the 3 points over the line and push even further up the table. So 2-1 Brighton. They're looking strong with the likes of Welbeck and, Matoma, Minter, De Kuyper. They're all pressing forward. So 2-1 Brighton. Next up, we've got Brentford against Liverpool. This is a tricky one. It's at the Brentford Community Stadium, or the GTEC, so... and Liverpool aren't playing at their best at all at the minute. I just think surely against Brentford, who's like kind of mid-table towards the relegation zone, surely Liverpool turn it round here. But I'm not sure, you know. I could just as easily see Brentford getting a result here. But I'm just, of course, Liverpool do play Eintracht Frankfurt away in the Champions League this midweek. I think that could hamper a few of their players and tire them out. So I think Brentford stand a pretty good chance of getting something in this match. But I am backing Liverpool to win 2-1. I think they'll just... If Ekatike plays, I think he can get maybe a winning goal for them. Maybe similar to Harry Maguire against Liverpool this weekend. So 2-1 Liverpool is where I'm going. But I could see Brentford maybe getting a draw. I don't think a point would be bad for either side, but especially not Brentford. But 2-1 Liverpool. And Liverpool need to get the 3 points. And I think they might just get it over the line here. Next up, we've got Wolves against Burnley. Another huge relegation 6-pointer here. Wolves, they're currently rock bottom of the table. Not much to go on here. Burnley, obviously, as I said, they did get a 2-0 victory over Leeds at Turf Moor last week. So that's a good 3 points for them. But I just look at this match. It's at Molineux. I think Wolves need to desperately get something. Apparently Vitor Pereira is not at any risk of being sacked. I find it a bit weird, but I think give him some time and he might push Wolves forward, because this is what they tend to do. In I think 3 of the last 4 seasons they've started off very poorly and then ended up pushing up. I think this year it could be more of a relegation scrap, an uphill battle to survival. But I think Wolves will get the win, 1-0. I don't think it'll be comfortable, but I do think Wolves will get the 3 points here. They need to keep their survival hopes alive, because if they lose this match, they lost to Sunderland, they lost to Leeds. Yeah, if they lose to Burnley, then it's looking very grim for them and their survival hopes. So 1-0 Wolves, giving them the 3 points at home. Next up, we've got Arsenal against Crystal Palace. And this is a tricky one, because Arsenal are at home, but Crystal Palace, they just drew 3-3 with Bournemouth last week. But Jean-Philippe Mateta, what a week he had. 3 goals, could have easily been 4 at the end. He just put the ball just over the bar. But Palace have been impressive this season. Sure, they came from behind to draw. I think they came back from 2-0 down to draw against Bournemouth. But Arsenal are at home. I do kind of fancy Arsenal here, but they got that narrow 1-0 win, I think, over Fulham. I look at this game and I think maybe a draw. I don't think I'm going to back Arsenal to drop many points this season. But I look at this game and I think of a high-scoring draw. I'll go for another Desmond on this one. 2-2. I think both sides are going to have a couple goals, maybe for Palace, Jean-Philippe Mateta, surely. Arsenal, they've got Saka, but, they've got all these players that can score goals. Leandro Trossard scored the winning goal against Fulham. Zubimendi's been firing this season. I think both sides have players that can score goals. I'm going for a 2-2 draw, and I want to see if Eze can do something against his former club, so 2-2. Next up, we've got Aston Villa against Manchester City. And, well, with this being at Villa Park, Villa are on great form right now. I think they're in the top 10 now. having been, bottom, I think, for a few weeks at the start of the season. But Man City are pushing for the title. They really are. Haaland scored 2 more goals in their 2-0 victory against Everton last week. As I said, I think Villa won 2-1. 2-1 against Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Both these sides are in good form. So here's what I think. I think, how you have this one bizarre game each and every week with loads of goals. I think this could be it. I'm going to back Man City to just do it, but there'll be goals. 3-2 Man City. I think Villa have enough to score a couple goals. Enough quality in the tank, but Man City, they've got Haaland, he can score goals. They've got some other good players. But I do think City have enough quality to win it, so 3-2. Next up, we've got Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest. And Bournemouth drew 3-3 with Crystal Palace, Krupi getting 2 goals. Yeah, Bournemouth looking good. They're actually currently 3rd in the table. They're above Liverpool in the table, behind Arsenal and Man City, but they're above Liverpool in the table. And Forest, they just sacked Ange after, at the time of losing 3-0 to Chelsea. At the time, Ange was in charge for 39 days, which is now the shortest running manager in the Premier League, behind Sam Allardyce, who I think it was West Brom he came into, or was it Leeds? One of those two, so till the end of the season. But they've just appointed Sean Dyche as their new manager. I feel like they could try and play possessive football under Sean, like they did at Burnley. It didn't really work out at Everton though, did it? And I think even if it does, I think it might have a drilling process and go into the Vitality Stadium with a Bournemouth side who are firing on all cylinders right now. I can't see anything other than a Bournemouth win here. So I'm going fairly heavy. 3-0 Bournemouth. I think the likes of, Kluivert can score goals. Evan Nielsen, although I think he's injured actually. But, Semenyo can really score goals. I think there's just too much quality at the minute in this Bournemouth squad who are firing. Of course, Krupi, that will get Bournemouth surely over the line. 3 points and 3 goals. And then finally, we've got Everton against Tottenham. And this is a tricky one because Everton, I think they're still unbeaten at home in this season. And Spurs, they did lose 2-1 to Villa. They went 1-0 up, conceded 2 goals. Which is a bit weird. I think I said it would be very Spursy for them to lose the match. I think I said they'd go 2 goals up and then concede 2 to draw in my prediction video last week. They lost, but they did concede 2 goals. This is tricky because Spurs are on better form, I feel. But Everton at home are something else. They're unbeaten. I'm thinking maybe a draw. I'm just not sure on how many goals. Let's go for a 1-1 draw on this one. I was thinking maybe another Desmond, but I think this could be quite a cagey match. And of course Spurs are another one. They go away in the Champions League this midweek. And I think that could tire them out. I think they'll have enough quality to draw, but 1-1 with Everton. So a 1-1 draw is what I'm going on this one. And there you have it, guys. All 10 Premier League matches done for another week. We'll see how well these predictions turn out this week. Hopefully I get at least 1. I'll be happy with 1. At least 1 correct outcome this week. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I think my championship predictions for this coming week should be up sometime Thursday evening, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for that, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later.